Today's victim were these two belts that I literally never used, so I turned them into these collars. Aren't they the most perfect thing you ever seen in your life? I'm in love with them, although I'm always in love with my work because I am obsessed with unique pieces, unique fashion, customized fashion, and today I want to give you some inspiration on how to make something like this for yourself. So let's get started. Starting with this collar right here. I used the thin belt as the base because it has the buckle already, so it makes it a lot easier for me. I measured it on my neck to see where I need to cut it. And then I took the thicker belt and I measured it just a little bit shorter than my neck. Then I cut both of them to size. I wanted to have a little plaid detail because a lot of my wardrobe has red plaid in it, so I wanted to match some of my outfits. So I cut out a square of red plaid and I played around with the hemming and how it will wrap around the collar. To hem it, I just folded the edges over twice and sewed it down with a straight stitch. And I did that for all of the sides. After testing if it will wrap around nicely, I grabbed some glue because I am not sewing through these thick ass layers of fake leather, and some people consider it cheating, although it's not really cheating if there's no rules. So I glued down the sides and the front, wiping down any excess glue, although it dries clear, so it doesn't really matter. After letting it dry, I turned it around and glued down the back. Now the smaller belt will be going on top, but before that, I need to customize it just a little bit. So I added some holes at the end of the belt so that it's adjustable. Using the leather punch is the most satisfying thing ever. I am always very happy to be working with it. I wanted to make the middle a little bit more interesting, a little bit more edgy, so I made a few extra holes and I put some spikes through it. I was gonna do just 3 spikes because I didn't want to overdo it, but it ended up not being symmetrical, so of course I had to add just a few more spikes. And I'm so happy I did because that looks so much cooler. Usually with fake leather belts there is a foam in the middle that's not the same color as the outside, so when you cut it, it gets exposed. To fix that, I just grabbed the Sharpie and colored it in. And the top layer was kind of peeling off, so I just glued it down while I was at it. To glue the pieces together, I ended up using shoe glue because it's the strongest glue that I had in the house. So I know this bad boy will not budge. It was very easy to work with. The only thing is, it dries very quickly. So if you make a mistake, you have to fix it immediately. So I worked slowly, bit by bit, making sure that everything is nice and even, and it dries completely before moving on to a different section. I let it dry overnight, and this is the final result. I honestly can't believe how well she turned out. This is literally just 2 old belts and scraps. This is making me more and more obsessed with making my own accessories. So let's move on to the second project. This was a lot quicker and easier to make. I just used the leftover belt from the last project because it already had a buckle, so it makes things a lot more simple. I measured it on my neck to see where I need to put the hole for the buckle. Do you see how I'm using a seam ripper to mark where the hole needs to go? Don't do that. That is extremely dangerous, and I don't know what I was thinking because it can slip and stab me in the neck. So maybe use a marker or something. Anyway, I made a hole. And then I wanted to make a patch. And you know how much I love making patches and using words and slogans in my fashion. Today's word of the day was rotten. Why? I have no idea, because that was just the first word that came into my head when I thought edgy and belt. So do with that as you will. Anyway, as per usual, I just write out the words. I'm using a Sharpie this time because I don't know where my fabric pens went. And then I just keep adding on to it until I am happy with the result. Set it with an iron so that when it gets wet, it does not bleed. And I sewed it onto a random piece of fake leather that I had lying around. I used a backstitch all around. And then just made random lines crossing each other. I don't know, I kind of just went with the flow, and the flow turned out to be correct, as it usually is. Because that looks sick, right? Like, we can all agree on that. I almost wish that I used red thread because I feel like that would be like a really cool contrast. Then I found where the front of the collar would lay, and I cut the patch to size. Of course, I had to add some spikes to each end of the patch using my favorite tool, the leather punch. And then I used the shoe glue again to set it into place, making sure to get all of the corners because I don't want it unraveling. To finish it off, I just painted the edges again with the Sharpie. And I cut the access belt to size. I'm sure we're going to use that little piece for another project, so look out for that. And here is the finished piece. You have no idea how happy these made me, because this is a true testament to how far I came along in my upcycling game, because I made accessories in a similar fashion about a year ago and they were ugly. Trust me, they were very ugly. So to make these unique, beautiful pieces that I will 100% wear like non-stop is actually incredible. I make these videos because I want to inspire people to make their own things like this, because first of all, it's so much fun, but also it gives you a much better sense of who you are as a person and what your fashion sense is. If you make your own clothes, your own accessories with your own hands, it feels a lot more personal. So if you need more inspiration, I do have multiple playlists of upcycling clothing, upcycling accessories, all the shebang. And if you like this video, please support the channel and like the video, comment down below what else you'd like to see from me, and subscribe to see more. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.